Shalom. First of all, let's start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to teachers, others, and the boss of great millstone, likewise, brothers, will know this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and to brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson is titled Prelude to the Evil Solution. Let's take a look at the word prelude in the online etymology dictionary, and it means introductory performance, a preliminary to an action, event, or work. Let's take a look at it in the ordinary meaning here, which I like better. And let's go to the bottom part. It means the word prelude itself is derived from the prefix pre, meaning before, and the Latin word laudere, meaning play. Says vocabulary.com, indicating something that comes before and prepares for something else. And you can see what's going on in the headline with the wars. Okay, you have the chaos across the world and also here in Great Babylon, America. Now, of late, I've been having a whole lot of really violent dreams, so to speak. A lot of violence, okay, in my sleep. Okay, and the thing about it is that I come out on top. I come out on top in these violent dreams. But nonetheless, I'm seeing these things in my dreams, experiencing, just the violence, okay, in my sleep. And this video that I'm showing you in the background here, and we're gonna listen to it. You're gonna see here what a trend that's going on here in Great Babylon, America, is that you have a lot of people that feel that their safety, okay, is no longer there. They feel threatened. Okay, they feel threatened. Everything is threatening them, and they're seeing it. And then you have those that are out there that are preparing people for this perceived threat, which is real because the scriptures talk about it. We're going to go into those. Okay, at the same time, you have the men of the Lord that are preparing people mentally for the threat, but also to have that faith, strengthened. Okay, because the Lord Yahweh has made it very clear that he's going to bring certain amount, okay, the 1/3 elect of Israel, so-called blacks and Americans and Latinos and the speckled bird, through this great threat, okay, and tribulation that's going to be taking place. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra 16. And verse 17 says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? What days is he talking about? He's talking about these days. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when those evils shall come? You have Trump considering whether he's going to bomb Iran or not. Okay, and as the apostles are going into it, there are certain things that has to take place. Okay, the preliminary actions have to take place. You have the MOTB. That's an important factor that has to take place before all hell really breaks loose. Okay.
News Nation's Alex Capriello joins us live. Alex, you visited one of these training sites. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I did, Elizabeth, and I had a chance to listen to the teachings from these gun instructors, which weren't exactly political in nature, although they did express a general sense of uneasiness about the world around us. It's part of the reason why we're seeing Americans take matters into their own hands, preparing both guns and their bodies for battle, just in case they find themselves in a dogfight.
They're not enlisted, though they dress ready for war. They don't have military training, though they can reliably hit targets 3 football fields away. What they do have is fear of violent crime, civil unrest, even foreign invasion. And here, deep in the sticks of Central Florida, these everyday Americans gather with guns in hand, training for the day they will need to keep themselves safe by any means necessary.
In your opinion, the world is more safe when we know how to use guns?
Oh, 100%.
Air Force veteran Eric Rocher leads the shooters in these military-style combat trainings. When Russia invaded Ukraine and civilians were forced to take up arms, Rocher decided he didn't want to see Americans succumb to the same fate.
They were trying to learn how to shoot literally days before the Russians invaded. And so they were almost like helpless. And I saw it, I was like, in America, we shouldn't have that problem.
As an Air Force tactical specialist, he knows techniques, disciplines, and standards that most civilians don't.
This should be information that every citizen should know about because it creates a better shooter, a safer shooter, a more defendable country.
More than 90% of the men and women who come to the Barrel and Hatchet open gyms aren't currently serving in the military, veterans, or members of law enforcement. They're actually everyday citizens, just like you and I.
Take Dan Pham, for example. He's a civil engineer that builds robots. Brandon Jordan, he's a YouTube content creator. And Angela Clow is an exercise physiologist.
I'm this very loving, caring girl, but I can be fierce.
When I spoke to them, every single one said they want to be prepared for any threat, and they expressed deep concern about our country and our world.
Riots, elections, foreign wars, people realizing that their safety is their own personal responsibility. No one's coming to save them, so they're going to have to be able to defend themselves and take matters into their own hands if they need to.
From the outside looking in, it looks like they're building a militia, but they insist they're not. Instead, they're among a growing cohort of prepared citizens, everyday folks worried about a near future where gun smoke fills the air. They just want to make sure it's coming from their guns.
I think that a lot more people are kind of feeling like something is coming globally. And so because of that, there is a sense of urgency to be able to train, to get their family equipped with training.
For the first time in more than 30 years, recent polling shows more Americans have guns in their homes than not. 1 in 5 gun owners now own AR-15 style semi-automatic rifles, with the majority saying they bought it for self-defense. And overall, more than 26 million Americans purchased their first gun in the last 5 years, with some of the greatest surges coming from African Americans, women, and liberal voters. That's more than the entire population of Florida.
It's not cops, it's not veterans, it's not current military.
No.
It's teachers, it's software engineers,
Dentists, yeah.
it's dentists,
Yeah.
it's lawyers, it's
Yeah.
doctors. Why would a dentist need to know how to shoot a rifle 300 yards?
I have a responsibility to protect myself and my family. You know, if I need help, if I have to call law enforcement, it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and usually that's way too long. So I need to be able to perform on command when the time comes, if the time comes, God forbid.
These civilians hope they never have to put their training to use. But if any of their worst case scenarios materialize, they won't be going down without a fight.
The more that people kind of see what we're doing, they understand our purpose is the brotherhood, and in doing something together that we enjoy, that's also a useful tool in the event of a bad scenario. That's what we're doing. We're not doomsday preppers out here.
I know you did it. You did it. Oh.
Beyond just learning advanced weapon techniques, there is a real sense of camaraderie among the men and women at Open Gym. After all, they have been doing it for several years, and so many of them tell me they first came for the target practice. They now stay for the people.
So you have the stages being set right now where they're looking to collapse the largest economy on this earth, Great Babylon America, okay, which is going to create chaos here. And you know, if Americans are not spending, then the rest of the world, they're not going to profit, because the people here are the main, customers of all of the products that's developed on this earth, okay, because the petrodollar is the currency of this earth. Now, what's taking place here? You have job losses, all kinds of things that's going on, all right, all kinds of things that's going on. You go into the book of Isaiah 19 and start verse 14, reads, the Lord, Yahweh, shall mingle a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt, which is place of doing spiritual sword in Egypt, to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggered in this woman. So decisions are made incoherently, very, and everything is kind of like an opportunity for a reality TV show, okay? It says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashai, which he shake it over. You're going to see, that egotistical, confident way that the so-called white man, and I'm talking about these low-level ones here, that the ones that we kind of, interact with, and those that we don't interact with who might be in higher positions, white-collar jobs or whatever, cases like that, you're going to see how they're going to fall apart as these companies start to replace them with AI. Okay, you have, Microsoft laying off people, tens of thousands. Amazon said that in the next 3 years, they're going to lay off pretty much 90% of their workforce because they already have AI in place to do the work. They don't need them. And that's going to be that's going to just be to all these big major corporations. It says, and the land of Judah should be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof should be afraid in himself because of the concept of the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashah, which he had determined against it. You have the Judite woman, okay, the Northern Kingdom tribe women, Latino women. They have kids. A lot of them, they live on the system. A lot of them, they actually, they have jobs too. Well, that's all going to come to an end. This is that judgment of the children of Israel. Okay, Jacob's trouble. And they have a lot of these youngings called YNs. Okay, now you have these people right now in the background, and you see them in the clip. They're prepping up for these YNs. They're prepping up for Jake's them to do just this what mentioned in the scripture here, where they're going to go into these suburban communities and into these other neighborhoods that might be a little bit more affluent, better than the ghetto. Okay, these people are preparing to take down Jake's. Okay, and you see now with the rallying that's going on and the protests that's going on. First you have Black Lives Matter, now you have the Latino version of it. You have these tribes that are now saying, you know what, including Jake's, that are saying, you know what, I need to arm myself, I need to train myself, I need to be prepared, okay, for people like this, like these people, to come and try to take my stuff or try to hurt my family. So you see right there, it says that Judah is going to be a terror, because these YNs, they have no integrity, and they have no manners and no respect for anything. They're going to go around, okay, burglarizing, and who else knows what else they're going to be doing. But you can see here, as this terror builds up, it goes to the 2nd Ezra 6 and 7 verse 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses should suddenly be found empty. We see in empty grocery stores right now. And the trumpet should give a sound of when every man hear it, they should be suddenly afraid, okay? Famine. No goods. Things ain't moving the way it was moving 10 years ago. And you see the spirit of people right now already melting and falling. He says, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand and fail with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. You're going to see, and friends isn't only about just two people. It could be a group. It could be towns. It could be nations. Okay, allies. Okay, America has allies. You have these other countries that have allies. You're going to have that. You could very well see Jamaica invading the Bahamas, or even Cuba, or Cuba invading Jamaica to go grab resources from there. This can take place. Okay, it's not far fetched, but clearly, all of this, or a lot of this, is going to take place here in Great Babylon, America. When you go to 2nd Ezra 15 and 19, it reads, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. These people are not training. They're not training to just only defense. They're also going to be offense. There's also going to be offense. People don't spend money, $2,400 on an AK-47 or AR-15. To shelve it. You're gonna grab your weapon and you're gonna go there and hunt for food, man. You're gonna have to. Okay? A lot of people are gonna become predators, and then you have a lot of people that are gonna be prey. Okay? And only the strong will survive. Okay? And things about to get really brutal. Whatever this prophet saw, it was horrific. It was horrific, and we have seen young men and women now having dreams of extensive violence or extreme violence here in Great Babylon, America. You go to Jeremiah 30, starting verse 4, it reads, and these are the words of the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, I spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah, the northern and southern kingdom. For thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. The image of people of the so-called black man and the Latino man right now, okay, is they're thieves, they're breaking your house, they're illegal, okay, they're drug dealers, they're rapists, they're murderers, okay? So guess what? There's going to be a target on all of our backs, man. All of us. All of us. Actually now, and see whether a man doth travail with child with, for do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turn into paleness. Because imagine you didn't do anything, but yet still people are targeting you. Yes, still people are targeting you. And this is going to be intertribal warfare, and this is going to be outer tribal warfare, okay? In other words, civil war, okay, or race war that's going to be taking place, okay? And yes, you Edomites are going to fight against each other, okay? He says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Even the time of Jacob's trouble, 12 tribe of Israel, but he shall be saved with it. Who's going to be saved with it? The hopefully elect of Yasharala. Now, people go, well, why is it only exclusive? Well, let's go into Matthew 24, verse 21. You can see where the Lord, because this is going to be a global thing. Don't get it twisted here. This is going to be global. But we always focus here on Great Babylon, America, because this place is going to be destroyed. It's going to be obliterated. So we focus on this place. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, just as not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those who were saved, okay, the 1/3, those days shall be shortened, okay, for the elect's sake. Because even though the elect will be protected, nonetheless, you're still going to feel those heartaches, those pain. You're going to see a lot of sufferings and a lot of things. Okay, and the Lord already instructed us not to pray for these people. This is Psalms. This goes over Psalms 91 and start with 7, because this is very comforting. You know, and as always, brothers like to envision us having powers, be able to have the ability to protect ourselves, but we know the angels is going to be the ones that's really going to be doing the protection. Okay, but we desire to have those powers even in this lifetime to just teach Esau a damn lesson. And even those are rebellious Hebrew Israelites too, and any other tribe that come up against the Lord's anointed. Okay, it says 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh to thee. And that's comforting. You're going to see a lot of dead bodies, smell a lot of stinky, dead, rotten flesh, but you're still living. Kind of like that guy that was only survived by that plane crash. Only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, Yahweh Shai, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. Think about the things that's going to happen to those people that took the jump juice, the C-19 jump juice. Yeah, they gave their life and they had their fear of Esau. They wanted to continue on here. So they're going to be suffering too. Think of the ones that never put down the pork and all of the horrible, abominable food that they shouldn't be eating. And the one that's indulging in those lifestyles like sodomy and whoredom. Okay, they're going to suffer those pestilence, those diseases, and you're not going to be able to go turn to the enemy who's Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, to get that magic pill, to pop that pill to get rid of that STD or whatever else is coming to you. Because all sword is going to be swinging out there, and you see it. People are prepping for extreme violence, and the Lord is putting that spirit in them to do that. So Lord willing, the elect will satisfy to close by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.